North Queenslanders are tonight taking shelter as they brace for the full impact of severe tropical cyclone Kirrily. There are ominous skies over Townsville, where the city of 200,000 people is waiting for the Category 3 system to cross the coast within hours. The latest forecast has it making landfall just to the north of Townsville, but the damage is expected to be more widespread as destructive winds batter coastal communities from Innisfail to Mackay. Tonight we have reporters in Townsville, Bowen and Airlie Beach, where residents have spent the day making final preparations. Let's go first to Lily Knopfling. Lily, what's the situation there in Townsville?
Jess, it is pelting down and thousands of homes have already lost power. This afternoon we were ordered to seek shelter and stay put with destructive winds pummelling the coast. The emergency advice is to go immediately to the strongest, safest part of the building you're in. We're being told we could see gusts of up to 165 kilometres an hour as this system bears down. The city's main cyclone shelter has shut its doors and won't reopen until further notice. The council says it'll advise us when it's safe to leave our homes, likely tomorrow morning. Until then, it will be a very anxious night ahead for North Queenslanders. A raging sea off the North Queensland coast. It's a treacherous playground for adventure seekers, the early symptoms of a looming cyclone.
We can come out about 7:30 this morning for a quick kite, get in well before it gets too windy.
Kirrily is on a rampage. At her core, 165 km/h gusts. Hamilton Islands copped 115 an hour winds, and heavy rain brought early flooding in downtown Bowen.
We could see isolated totals of up to 300 millimetres in a 24-hour period as this system crosses the coast.
Elders have been flown off Palm Island, which doesn't have an evacuation centre.
We're the largest discrete indigenous community with a large population, and we do need one.
The system is due to hit Townsville and surrounds late tonight.
We've distributed more than 20,000 sandbags at the moment.
This afternoon, residents were ordered to seek shelter and lock down.
We're prepared and ready for the worst. Now we wait and hope for the best.
Along the coast, communities spent the day counting down and getting ready.
Got the bobcat there in case we've got to clear a way out later.
Got plenty of beer in to have the cyclone party.
Townsville's most vulnerable have also taken shelter in evacuation centres. It's the barest of basics. Residents and visitors on Magnetic Island, just off the coast of Townsville, have been cut off from the mainland. They've been urged to have enough boiled drinking water to last them 3 days in case of power failures. Residents of a Townsville hotel were ordered to lower levels. Some plan to sleep in its restaurant. Across the region, more than 100 schools are closed. In Ayr, locals spent the day preparing.
Getting rid of all the rubbish out of the yard and battling things down, so boarding up the windows.
I look after my mum and we're a bit frightened, but you know, we've got good neighbours.
And teams of volunteers have been busy filling sandbags.
It's been outstanding actually for the last 4 or 5 days. You can see by the people here, this has just been non-stop for that whole time.
Some residents have boarded up their homes, just like they've done in previous cyclones.
Oh, I've been set up from the last few, and all we do is put the timber back over windows so we don't break the windows.
Others took to social media to share their experience.
We flipped our dining room table over like this and popped everything in the corner.
Extra police and emergency crews have been deployed. Interstate help is also on its way.
We have preemptively declared this a disaster. We have preemptively requested assistance from the Australian government and other states.
Local GPs are on standby to set up a makeshift emergency department.
We need to be ready for all of those things: broken bones, lacerations, trauma, heart attacks, all sorts of things.
A sleepless night ahead. Lily Knopfling, ABC News, Townsville.
Well, let's take you to Bowen now. Our reporter Victoria Pengilly is there. Victoria, what are the conditions like?
Well, Jess, conditions have turned very quickly here in Bowen. Gale force winds have been hitting the town whipping up waves along the coastline and battering houses. We're sheltered now, but across the bay in the marina, boats are being thrown around. And in the town of Ayr, just further north of us, the winds have already brought down trees. It feels like we're in a ghost town here. To be honest with you, I just don't think people were expecting this to be upgraded to a severe Category 3 system. But people are now bracing indoors, waiting for what's to come. We were issued with emergency alerts earlier this afternoon, urging locals to stay off the roads and indoors until the eye of the cyclone passes later tonight. Jess?
Victoria Pengilly, thank you. Julia Andre is in the tourist town of Airlie Beach and filed this report a short time ago.
Wind gusts are certainly starting to pick up here at Airlie Beach, but there hasn't been much rainfall. Now, holiday makers on the Whitsunday Islands are isolating at the moment, and they aren't able to return to shore until it's safe to do so. Most of the restaurants in Airlie Beach's Main Street are closed tonight, with sandbags lining storefronts as a safeguard. Airlie Beach's Main Street would usually be bustling tonight on the eve of the long weekend, but it's eerily quiet. Many tourists have left the town and locals are staying inside as they wait to see what this cyclone brings.
Julia Andre reporting to Jenny Woodward now. And Jenny, where is Kirrily at the moment?
Well, Jess, it is certainly crunch time as the severe Category 3 system is very close to the coast. Hello, everyone. The 7 o'clock advice says Kirrily is sitting only 40 kilometres northeast of Townsville and travelling west-southwest at 31 kilometres an hour. So, as well as intensifying, it has really picked up speed since yesterday. Now, while the warning zone still extends from Innisfail down to Mackay, the Bureau have told me that they expect the eye to cross the coast at around 9 o'clock. It might be a little bit earlier than that, just north of Townsville, but that isn't an exact time. It might do a bit of a wobble as it gets close to the coast, and that's quite common. Very destructive winds to 170 kilometres an hour could occur near the centre as Kirrily makes landfall, but then it'll weaken and start to track inland. So there's a severe weather warning for heavy to locally intense rain and possibly some damaging winds for a broad area. Now, there's very little risk of it heading south now. The inland rainfall totals are about 80 to 120 millimetres. That's possible per day. And we could also see isolated falls of 250 millimetres and more. Now, the system could slow down as it gets overland, and there will be heavy falls on the weekend and possibly into next week as well. So a big night ahead. So watch out for the Bureau's hourly updates, and I'll be back with all the weather details for the rest of the state later.